All right, good. So, just for the purpose of the recording, just go ahead and ask the question one more time. So, because I'm sure other people have this question as well. So,
okay. Okay. On your presentation, I noticed that you had 850 times 48, and it equal to like 40,000 or something. And I'm wondering if that's one project that we're working on that's not inclusive of the pod. We were working on the pods, 3 people in each pod, and we're supposed to pay $48 for each pod. Then on the slide sheet, you got 850 times 48. So I was wondering, are those 2 different projects? Are they 2 different activities? And which one are we supposed to be concentrating on?
Awesome. Okay, good. So I'm looking to see if I could find do you remember our dream suite? So I'm looking to see if I could find that, because we're gonna actually talk about that on the next call here, and it's at the top of the hour. So remember in our dream suites we got 8,498, I believe, is dream suites. I got that on the top of my head. Remember the dream suites?
That was with the 59 floors times 144.
Exactly. That building. Period. Yep, that building. Exactly. All right. And when you multiply 59 times 144, what do you get?
You get 8,496.
So 8,496 dream suites. Right. Now, okay, so it means that we're going to plug one pod per dream suite. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's take that 8,496, right? Because that's one pod, right? So one pod or one sponsorship. Now, remember, the pod has 3 people inside of it.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm just saying this for simplicity purposes. We got 8,496 dream suites, right? Which I believe you own maybe 1 or 2 or a couple of them. Right. And now, how many pods go into a dream suite? You remember that number offhand?
Was it 4?
You got it. You are going to be the winner of. I'm going to give you 4 tokens for that, just because you got the right answer.
Thank you.
We the only people who can do it on a call like this for fun. We don't keep doing some stuff like this on a call because we different. All right, we different. We understand how this system works. Right? So check this out. All right. So if you multiply 8,496 by 4, what do you get?
You get 33,984.
So you get 33,984. So what was the first number? What was the first number I said a couple of days ago that we're gonna do? We're gonna sponsor 33,984 people. Make sense?
Yes.
So they're really gonna be 4 pods inside of a dream suite, which means that they're going to sponsor 4 people, right? They're going to sponsor 4 people because each pod sponsors 1 person. Does that make sense? Right. So that means that 1 person is going to be sponsored by that pod. Okay. Now, inside of a pod, the pod is just really the formation. So you could have a pod. You could literally call up your friend and say, "Hey, I need you to help me with something. Here's what I'm doing. I'm helping these kids to get this and this and that." Now, remember that also people are going to have to get paid, right? So inside the pod is going to be a person who's going to help, to distribute money that comes through the pod. There's a person that goes about the business of the pod, which is helping with the sponsorship, the direction, making sure. So these are other things that happen inside of the pod with other people inside of the pod. That's their job. That's what they're doing. Might be a dream maker inside of the pod, depending on the kind of pod that you have. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So the only reason why we say 8,496 is because, as we said on our calls, 33,984 gets us at 13. It gets us way beyond $1,000 a token. Way beyond $1,000 a token. Right, and so we know that there's some people even on this call that have taken a chance to get some of our token at $1 and less. Right.
Yeah.
And so, all right, and a lot of people on this call, some people on this call already have 1,000 token. So I figure the easier number for us to aim for right now is our 8,496, because at 8,496, everybody on this phone would already be a millionaire, because if people on this that call it have 1,000 tokens, some people have 100 tokens, and people that get on a next call, which is our hangout call, and hang out with us and actually do some of the things that will be happening inside of these pods, which is the casting and the actual work of our system, right? Which is separate from the sponsorship of the system. So we on this side, we're the sponsors of the system. Hence, like the pod has a sponsor inside of the pod, right? But a person might want to sponsor them. They might have some time, right? But do they want to be full-time doing the work of a pod? No, it might be a dream worker who's interested in doing that full-time work. Does that make sense? A dream maker, that's what we call them here. A dream maker might be interested, somebody that's interested in getting the above minimum wage, which is, in our system, they end up, after everything goes to the system, they end up with about $80, but depending, $80 in DPLAQ, right, for that month work, instead of $40 in DPLAQ. So, we'd be doubling what the minimum wage would be, in, plus give them training, etc. So all these things happen around the pod, but because you're a sponsor, the sponsor's real business in that pod, right? And again, I'm calling these sponsored pods because it could be 3 people in that pod that decide they want to sponsor one person apiece, which then in fact they'll really have 3 pods, right? Or it could be a person that decides one pod that needs to get 3 people to split up $16 a person, or when we have our software up, because it's practiced very easy, which is very, very shortly here. Then what would happen as well is we want to encourage people, even if it takes 3 people $1.20 a day for 40 days to be able to fulfill the sponsorship on a person. That's what we'll do. So we want to make sure that no person that can be sponsored is left behind, because every sponsorship represents a dream, and we are DREAMPLAY. It represents either a dream being worked on, or it represents a dream maker getting a job to work on somebody's dream. Either which way, it fulfills our parent business as well, which is the startup business, which is what you see on the DREAMPLAY side, the startup business, dream business, and that's what's happening. So the sponsorship on this side is really just to give people a chance to do the work inside of this suite, like you remember the Dream Suite, right? And so does that clarify though the difference between a sponsor and what's going on inside of the pod itself, the sponsorship that's happening from that pod? Does that help you to understand better?
Yeah, I understand that part about the pod and the sponsor within the pod. Okay. I think I was trying to see if there was a correlation between that and the 850 people times 48.
850 people. Oh, so now your question. This is a separate question, then, if I understand. So now you're talking about the special offer. Is that what you're referring to? When I said,
yes.
Okay. Awesome. So we got 8,496 people, 496 sponsored people, right? Which represents 8,496 times 48. Does that make sense? That's just for one pod. Now, if we look at all the pods that we have, it'll be actually 33,948 times 48. Does that make sense?
No.
Okay, no worries. I got you covered. So here's what we got. We got 8,496 that we just agreed. That's the number of seats we got in the building. In other words, that's the number of. if you're thinking of it as an office, we got 8,496 offices, right? And each office got 4 cubicles in it. You can think of it like that, right? So really, one pod is going to go into one of those cubicles or one corner of that office, right? And the other pod has to go into the other corner of the office. There's only 4 pods that go into that one office suite. It makes sense, like a traditional business.
Okay.
Like a regular. Yeah, just think traditional business, although we're using these different terms. These are just new world terms like email to differentiate. But, pod is, let's call it like a cubicle, for example. Right? Call it cubicle, let's call it office space. You know the strip malls, you got strip malls all around the place, right? So if it's a little strip mall, you got 4 offices in that strip mall. That's all it is. Right. Their job is to sponsor kids, all 4 of them, but they belong to Denton, or they belong to Wiley, or they belong to Wiley Strip Mall. That's Wiley Strip Mall, 4, on the corner of MLK and 3rd. Right. That strip mall right there. 4 offices in there, and that's all they do. Okay, they sponsor people to get this work. They're not in the business of doing. The sponsors are the people that bring that. They're not in the business of training, right? They're not in the business of training. They kind of like the people that lend you money to buy a house. It's after you pay them back, you own your house, right? And so here the sponsors are sponsoring that process. If I use the example the other day, even on the call, right? The sponsors are, if it was Uber, I'm buying you a car, right? If it was $48, if that's cheap, I'm buying you a car for $48, and you start to work, and you pay me back 48 cents on every dollar that you make. I get my $120. In this case, I get my $57.60, and now you own your car. Thank you, sponsor. Have a good day. Thank you, person that borrowed the money. I feel good because I gave you a chance so now you can go find your own work, and even now you qualified to work in our startup business over on the other side, right? Whenever that work is available to you in the startup business, which is where you're really going to go work at inside the Dream Suites, right? So the community pays back that money, but as a sponsor, I'm putting up the money, and I get the reward. I'm rewarded. So if I as a sponsor, just as a humanitarian person, I want to put $48 and see these people get this work, right? Great, I've done my job. Awesome. Now you put up $48 and sold. The community says, just like the community says on his phone, this is a great question. You're helping everybody to learn. So guess what? I'm going to give you some tokens. I'm going to give you some value for that. So the community says, you know what? You helping our people to learn, so we're going to give you our own DPLAQ as a reward for helping these people. Whoever put it up gets back 120%, 1% a day for 120 days. That's it. That's the end of the story for sponsors. Understand? That's all they do.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I got you.
Okay, awesome. Great question. Any other questions, guys? I got room for one more question before we end this call, and then we'll open up our hangout call. Great question, Ms. Connie. Ms. Teresa, I think we still be going to give Connie 4 tokens. I usually give tokens on this call, but I might at the end, because as a token of appreciation, again, we want to reward people. You take your time, you come on here, you learn about our sponsorship program, because this is obviously going to change the world. There's plenty of people out there that love the idea. We're not an investment company or anything like that. We just sponsor people, and people get the benefit. But there's some people out there saying, "Boy, Jamal, I got a bunch of stuff sitting around. And I got a grant sitting around, ain't doing nothing for me, and I don't know whenever I think Ethereum or maybe Bitcoin has already had its move already, and they're saying, well, what should I do? I said, well, there's a lot of people who are hungry who can benefit from that. And so you got to make a decision. But people understand that have something real. And by the way, even if so, Ms. Khan, let me just go back to one thing here real quickly. If you refer a person, that's what the 850 was for. So it's 8,496, but 10% of that, because 8,496 means that 10 people can go bring 849.6 people. I said 850 because we can't do 849.6 people, or we can't do 84.9 people. So I just rounded it up. All I'm saying is if you because there's money here for the recruiter as well, right? And a recruiter is a person. A recruiter is a person that can find a sponsor. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So what I was saying was, if you went ahead and you brought in a recruiter that had you recruited a sponsor or another recruiter or anybody that can help us to bring 85 sponsorships in, here's what I'll give to you as a benefit, because they're moving money through the system. I was saying how much money moving through the system. I'm going to give them a bonus, and I'm going to give you a bonus for finding them. So it's easier to find a person that you already know, a church, a organizer, a recruiter, a network marketer that has a team of 85 people that can spend $48. It's easy that you do that and get a commission of $1,000 today if they came in to do that and go get you close to 1,000 tokens. That's how you make $1 million. Right. So all I was saying was that there's a lot of people that don't need to go try to refer people if that's not your cup of tea. But if you do know, or say for example, you, Connie, might not know directly, but Spiffy, her best friend, built a huge Avon business. I know we actually got an Avon lady on our line, right? She's our very own, right? And so, but she might have built, a big business in that area, and so you might say, hey, Spiffy, I don't know directly, but can you call up Miss Karen, because she built a Avon business, for example, and if Miss Karen can bring in 85 people, Spiffy, you and I, we can split that commission. See, so this is for people to be able to get creative, because what we do know is it's a matter of spreading the message, and we got a really good way of spreading the message. You should be looking for a link here within 24 hours, so we can actually go start running the money through for sponsorship, and you guys are going to see how fast this thing is going to run. Does that make sense, Tommy? Does that make sense, Connie, as well? Oh, people, 850, not 849.6.
So how long is the time period to obtain the 850 people?
Oh, as soon as they finish, you get paid. So here's what I'm saying to you, though, right? In the next, let me say to you this. In the next 7 days, you, me, and everybody that I know is going to be out looking for these people to finish this up, because we looking to run our token up to 1,000 and beyond, and have people get these jobs, have our system start working, and then we can all take a vacation here for a second. So now is the best time always. Why? Because again, I'm going to end this call. Here's the last question. I'm going to end this call in exactly 1 minute, because we want to hop over. I'm going to end this call, and then we'll switch into our hangout, our show business side of a business, our sponsorship, stuff like that. We'll have some free flowing conversation on that side as well. All right. But as the answer really is as fast as possible, right? As fast as possible. The reason being is because, and I'll show you guys on the other side some of this stuff too, so you understand. But the reason being is because, when we go out there and some calls start going out, there's people on this call that have people in their network that can do 33,000 people. You see, so if a person says I can do 33,000, I'm going to say, okay, go for it, go get started. Now, if you have your guy that comes in, he says I can do 33,000 as well, or whoever finishes first, and then we'll just do a pro rata for the difference in the money. Now, that's why I'm showing a breakdown in the money. So So it's how much money is really how much money that comes in, and what we can afford to pay on that to keep the system making sense and it works and it doesn't affect anything or hurt anything. So these are numbers that we know we can pay, but is remember all of this is in DPLIQ token. So if you got that 1,000 in commission today, right? This is an example. It means you get 1,000 tokens today, right? Which is as they finish that out, though, they finish those numbers out. That number is going to continue to grow, right? Your tokens continue to grow. Every person that's added, every person that's sponsored, everything that rolls, right? It continues to increase the value of each additional token, right? So does that answer your question when I said as fast as possible? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, like yesterday.
Yeah, like last week.
Or at least tell me what he was informed. I'll see what I can do.
So the next step after joining is to get other people to join, as many as possible, or you a certain minimum of a certain number.
So all right, so let me do this, Willie. So I'm gonna do this real quick because we got another call beginning. All right, that begins in 4 minutes. So I'll answer your question, then we'll hang up this call. And if people need, if you need to get some more questions answered, our other calls a hangout call, and so then we'll do that. But we want I know for guests and stuff like that, our new format for this year, for the rest of this year, that we'll start as close as possible. 4 o'clock my time, 4:05 my time, which is 8 o'clock on your side. If you're in New York time, which is 9 o'clock Barbados right now, but it'll be pretty much 8 o'clock most time around, or 9 o'clock depending on time zones, right? But this call is going to be consistent, and we have a call right afterwards. So, Willie, this guy's question one more time, please. I just want to kind of bring that frame out so people understand why we'll end the call here in 3 minutes. Go ahead, Willie, please.
Okay. The question is, once I join or purchase the $48, purchase the token, what is my next step after that? Is to recruit other people to purchase a $48 token?
So, great question, Willie. So let me answer that for you this way. It depends on how big your dream is, really. That's a question that you got to answer for yourself. So let me tell you about in terms of responsibility. When you sponsor a person for $48, you're not buying a $48 token, by the way. But when you sponsor them, the mechanism buys $48 at our token price, which means today, if you buy today and it's $1, you get $48 in tokens. That's purchased, not you, but the system purchases $48 in tokens, right? Mm-hmm. You get back $57.06 in tokens over a couple of days. But say, for example, the token was $10, right? Today, you'll be actually getting you will be getting if the token is $10 today, you'll be getting 4.8 tokens. Does that make sense? That 4.8 tokens is bought because it's buying at the token price, and you don't get those tokens. Those tokens actually go into the system to pay the people for the work, and they do the work. That mechanism happens, and you get 48 cents on the backside from the community for having made that loan. So at that point in time, you like a lender. Your job is done. Somebody community borrowed the money from you. Think of it like that. They borrowed $48 from you. You gave them 120 days to pay them back 20%. On top of that, they did that. That's it. No more responsibility to you. Done. Except you want to find another kid that can benefit, sponsor another kid, right? But your responsibility is done as a sponsor. Now, if you decided you wanted to be a recruiter, so you can make all the money you want. Somebody said to me, Jamal, well, if I have $4,800, I said, if you have $4,800, 1% of that is roughly about $48 a day. So it means that you could add an additional line of business that's rolling you in additional 1% per day every day. So today you added another 48, next day you add another 48, next day you add another 48, next day you add another 48. So now you're earning instead of 100 times 0.48, right? Which is $48. Instead of earning $48. Now you add another person on, which increases your daily earnings. Then add another person. So you sponsoring people. That's why I said here, how would you like to become wealthy from doing good? That's not from you. That's not recruiting at all. Separate altogether. Now, another person says, and I'll wrap up here, and then we'll close this call and other call and open another call. The person says, "Wow, that's cool." Your cousin says, "Really?" Your cousin says, "Well, really, I want to do what you're doing. Because I see you don't even have to recruit nobody. All you do is put $48 up, and you get $57. Your cousin, really, I want to do that." So he has to have a way to come into the system, or she has to have a way to come into the system. So they have to come in, because we're invite only. They got to come in through you, because trust me, people gonna be asking you, how can I get in? Because they don't have to go recruit. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
How can I get? If you don't like to recruit too much, so but how can I get in? All right, and you gonna tell them, all right, use my link. I'm gonna show you what to do, young cuz. I'm gonna show you what to do. All right, use my link. So now you got to coach them, because you wasn't really trying to coach somebody. You was just trying to sponsor some people and watch people grow and have some fun. You wasn't trying to explain them to your cousin and all them, because all they gonna want to bring money and other people, and you're gonna have to make money. Right? So you might tell them, all right, look, here's what, look, cuz we gonna keep it real simple. Use my link. I'm gonna show you how to get on this little platform. All right, come on this little platform right here. Go ahead, push this $48. You push this $48, they get sponsored. Here's where you find your money. You have to show them how, like what the back call would look like, that kind of stuff, and then how to get back on these calls. And that's it. Now your job as a recruiter done. That's it, right? Because somebody, there's no company really to there's no company really to do that. So we pay you. So since you already done use the system, we pay you so that you can show your cousin how to sign up and how to do that. So we don't have to go pay somebody to do that part. But we got the backup for that anyways. Remake. Does that make sense really?
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah. Yep.
So
yep.
Yeah. So focus us fun and
so let me end this call. Let me end this call, and then we're gonna log right back in, and then so for everybody, thank you for being on this call. We finished this call. Again, I wanna do what we said and stay to the call times as they are, right? And so we're gonna reopen up our next call here. I'll open right back up so people are able to log back on. That's our hangout. So you could ask me as many questions as you want. It's a lot more free flowing. And that's what we built. That's what we're building our multi-million-dollar dream show, which everybody is invited to be a part of. But I wanted to make sure we end this call as that's direction from my leaders. My leaders told me that leaders in the department heads say, hey, we want to end the call. So I like to respect what they tell me. They're my bosses actually. So I want to end the call if that's what they said is best. And so I want to appreciate them and appreciate everybody for coming here. But we're going to reopen our hangout. We're going to reopen our hangout right back here on the same line, same channel. So I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Come back onto the hangout, and then that way we'll answer any questions that you like. All right. With that being said, let me turn the call back over to you, Ms. PJ and Ms. Shireen. Willie, if you got more questions, anybody's got more questions, come on the other side. We're going to have some fun. I'm going to give some token out. We're going to make some money. We're going to enjoy the system. All right. So with that, Ms. PJ, Ms. Shireen, call back over to you.
Okay. Thank you, Managing Director. And once again, thank you for joining us this evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to end the call, and then we can log back in approximately 5 minutes, please. Thank you.